Hi guys and girls, welcome back to another Show on the Buffon video, and today I am videoing just for people that will be participating in any other pre-releases and actually want to come first and get some packs. This is my undefeated first place deck profile that I used to win the pre-release, and obviously it's always nice to get more packs and hopefully you'll pull some good stuff. My pulls are in the video following this deck profile, but to begin with, if you get this battle decks, obviously all pre-release decks come with like a build your own sort of already pre-built deck. You definitely want to be running the Empoleon and the Dust Noir line. The reason why it is because effectively they both serve as one energy attackers. So although there's a lot of energy in the deck, for reasons I'll go into in a minute, it's like the very low maintenance attackers, which makes them like brilliant for a pre-release. It means that the only thing that you're messing about with effectively is trying to find the Pokemon, which is relatively easy in this builder battle one, just because it comes with 2 Pokecoms and a Reds challenge and such. And the Dust Noir line basically runs itself. You're effectively only ever having to look for the Dust Noir and the Duskull, because obviously a Duskull already finds a Dusclops for you and actually skips a turn of evolution, which we'll go into now actually. Well, I'll put them like move them down a bit just so we can read them a little bit better. So anyway, like we'll just go through the choices first. So Empoleon is amazing because it gets to copy Piplup's attack, which eventually you will have enough energies attached to be able to do. This basically stops your opponent's basic Pokemon from attacking during their next turn, which is absolutely brilliant. And it can also help you. I took 3 different knockouts with Direct Dive, because Recall, you only need 1 energy for Recall, obviously, and you can copy Direct Dive, so you're only ever discarding 1 energy to Direct Dive things. Helps you get rid of your opponent's source books, because a lot of people will be playing source book, which has got an ability called Seasonal Greetings that allows them to keep drawing cards every turn. Not really bothered much about the other attacks per se. Aquafall is decent, obviously, for 2 energy, 130. It's not bad. It's not an eye opener per se. Excuse me. So Duskull line, Duskull line even, or Dust Noir line, whichever. Spirit-Born Evolution. It doesn't have to be on the field for a turn before you evolve it, just because of Spirit-Born Evolution. And if you happen to have your Dusclops in hand, the deck does play 2 Pokemon Communication, as you can see here, and 1 Res Challenge to find the communication to put it back in. And obviously there's reasons why you do that. Preferably you'd want to be like drawing cards, like just discarding cards, thinning out your deck and stuff to make it more consistent to find other cards that you need. But there was only 3 rounds today, and in at least 3 of the games, I played 6 games, at least 3 of the games, I'd managed to use this, discard 3 cards, play a Pokemon down onto my bench for a turn, make an attachment, and Blue's Tactic, which is just here. If we don't know how that does, it basically at the end of your turn allows you to draw until you've got 8 cards in your hand. So obviously Duskull with Blue's Tactics going first is crackers. Obviously we won't have that ruling for much longer with the new rules that are coming into effect. Dusclops in itself is a decently good attacker. Any card with the attack disable, I have pretty much won every pre-release with. Just because it just shuts down your opponent's basic and they're having to retreat and remove energy off their own board and get around your stuff. So eventually, like, it just basically weakens their board state disable in some manner of speaking. And if not, then you're definitely getting the first prize either way, which is usually really helpful in a tournament where there's no gusting effects via this. But we'll go into this in a minute. And then Dust Noir basically hits for 180 because it hits for 60 and then 120. They're not KOing it because it's got 160 health unless they do manage to get enough in Emboar, which is very hard to do. And a lot of the time they can't find the pieces for it anyway, the Embor line. Because the Embor, I don't think actually comes in a battle deck per se. I think it just comes as like cards in the packs. So anyway, and then Grim Marking anyway is basically spell tag, so that then puts damage on your opponent's Pokemon and makes it even easier to knock out with Empoleon using Recall for Aquafall and things like that. So that's those. I'll go into these two. Fion is really good because it stops you from decking out. So if it's on your bench and it's your last card on your bench, you literally put it on back onto your deck pile, and then you have an infinite loop of still having one card in your deck until your opponent has no bench Pokemon to bring in. Which shouldn't ever usually be the case in the pre-release. The game should be over by that point anyway. And the only reason I ran Igglybuff is because I knew people would be running this. So my opponent either would try to use Fion to stall me because my active was putting on pressure, in which case I'd just switch an Igglybuff, and because it's got free retreat, I'd just switch immediately back out and go straight for the attack again. Or they'd use Fion to, like, well, basically, the idea is to switch your opponent's active out. That's what it does. But the only problem with Fion is that your opponent does choose, hence why I did choose Igglybuff, because they either took a prize by knocking out Igglybuff, which I'm not really bothered about because it's obviously never getting charged up. It's not being used for anything but its free retreat. So, like, Igglybuff being knocked out didn't really matter. But if they didn't knock it out, then obviously free retreat and I'll be back on the attack. The best three supporters, the best two supporters in this set, especially for this builder battle, if you get either of these two, run as many copies as you can, especially in this pre-release deck. So if you guys have another pre-release to go to next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd recommend this. This is definitely like the best build that you can get out of the builder boxes. And Roxy's good because the fact that battle box comes with two communications, you can put back something that you don't want to discard for something that you don't mind thinning through, something that you want to get rid of, like your third Duskull, for example, and something else that you know you're not going to be using, like another Piplup as well, or another, like if you know what one of either of these two one-offs are prized. So that's why we use Roxy, because then you draw 3 cards for each Pokemon that you discard, which is crackers. You're drawing 6 cards with that for no reason, basically, because you're just getting rid of useless resources. And the same reason with Energy. Energy is always vital, but you play high count because of Roller Skater, which is basically draw 4 in this deck. I mean, like, it's always going to be a draw 4 because you run 13 Energy, which seems high for a pre-release, but again, you always want to be attacking. You don't ever want to get stalled out, which is possible with Fion if you're not running the Igglybuff. Excuse me. These two are like the anti-Entei. So there's an Entei in the pack, in the set, that comes with an attack called Rallyback, which we're all familiar with. Shamans have had it in the past and such. Rallyback, obviously, if one of their Pokemon's knocked out, they do a 90 extra damage. But if you turn 1 Poison Breath, as soon as they start charging up an Entei, this is the attack you want to go for. You just want to Poison Breath, and then evolve the next turn and use Poison Cultivation, so they take 100 damage from Poison rather than 10. So because they take the damage from Poison, they take damage from an effect of the game, not the damage of an attack, and therefore Rallyback doesn't do the 120. So they're stuck doing Fire Fang for 100, which doesn't knock out Dragalage, and then at least you get some free damage on it before Dragalage does get knocked out. So that's all there is to that. Just realised the deck actually plays 14 energy. Draw energy is your attachment. It's a +1 basically, because it's your attachment and a draw, which is really good. That's all there is to say about this deck, really. Like, the fact that 2 communications come with this particular battle box. I think most other people only got 1. And this skips an evolution. You're basically putting on pressure from turn 2. Especially, I went out of 3 rounds. I went first 2 out of 3 rounds, and starting with these two alone was absolutely crackers. The Duskull, sorry, it's gone off the picture again. The Duskull and the Blues Tactic. Anyway, I hope you have a good time at your pre-releases, and I hope you get some awesome pulls, and you will see mine. Hi guys, Sean the Bufflin, and welcome back. I have just won the Cosmic Eclipse pre-release and acquired six packs, including the one that's in my hand, so I'm just putting my pulls on the channel. I haven't done a video in a very long time, and I'm very happy to win. So I'll just go through them quick. Don't think I'm going to pull anything good. This Dusclops line from the battle pack is basically the reason why I won the tournament. Classic Chaotic Swell, happy to get one of them. That's a good card. So going through, Phantom, Dragonite, Eevee, Baby, Dusknoir, go on. What's this do? Nothing good. It wouldn't be the first pre-release that I've won and got nothing from it, to be fair. So don't expect any exciting pulls from these. Going to the third pack. Shout out to Critical Hit Games Cafe in Liverpool, where we did this tournament. Looks like I've got something good in this. I've just seen a flash of something. Teddimaru, Trapinch, Baby, Solgaleo, Noricorio GX. Probably the worst one in the set. Class. Love it. So we have one pull. A new type null, that's always helpful. The card that's just been banned. So useful, but the set hasn't even been released yet, and we've already got cards banned from the set. In expanded, of course, not in standard. Carrying on with the fourth pack. Nothing good, nothing good. What's this? Nothing good. A decent Lens Resolve, that's the best from that pack. Absolutely killed that pack. So fifth pack. An Emboar, which my opponent nearly beat me with in the last round. These semi-decent cards, new Pokédoll, always happy to have one of them. So Onyx, Tepig, Sandshrew, Snorunt, Coffin, Apom, Solgaleo and Lunala. Still not the best card in the set, but I'm happy to have that for a Malamar deck. And then Energy, Morwell, Flyrionic, well, 4 useless. Where is it? Last pack. Snorunt, Coffin, Jolber, Swirlix, Kricketune, Trapinch, Entei, nothing good. Tag Call's alright. So 2 pulls out of 8 packs, it's pretty average. The artwork on that Solgaleo and Lunala is beautiful though. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, have a good day.